Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miss back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another CDL video. We're going to be reviewing, this past weekend's games and competition. So let's get into it. Here's a quick look at the standings so far for the season. Now, of course, Optic Texas now in number 1, and I believe that is literally like the first time since Modern Warfare that Atlanta has not been at the top of the standings, which is absolutely absurd. Obviously, London and Atlanta now tied at 100 as well, with the Seattle loss from Atlanta, and of course London winning their series this weekend. Thieves, unfortunately, going 0-2 this weekend, and yeah, obviously they're still at 60. Toronto winning their series. They're now back at even with a 5-5 record, as well as the Breach. The Mutineers even with 4-4 with 40 CDL points. And of course, a big win from Seattle and Rokkr this weekend. So the middle of the pack is very, very interesting between the Gorillas and the Thieves. Like, I mean, all what is that? 6 of those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All 7 of those teams are very, very even, and all in really close standings from one another. So I'm intrigued to see how that continues on. And of course, New York and Paris still at the bottom of the league. And they have a match this week, which is a total coin toss. Let's be real. But we'll talk about that in my predictions video later this week. Nonetheless, let's take a look at my predictions over the weekend. So, Royal Ravens and Subliners, I somehow managed to actually get the 3-1 win there, which is odd. I mean, the Ravens looked better against the Thieves than they did against the Subliners, and they looked good against the Subliners, but it was a sad series for the Subliners. Like, they are just not in a good spot right now. Like, they are in complete shambles right now by the looks of things. Now I believe, 0-14 in hardpoints? Like, shit. Anyways, moving on to the next match that was on Friday. We had the Breach beating the Surge. I went 3-2. It ended up being 3-1. And then, of course, the Surge would eventually end up beating FaZe. And I have a feeling they'll go 1-4 this stage. Their only win will be against FaZe. Mark my words, I'd be shocked if they won another series, because against the Breach, it's honestly a must-win for them, but it's a big W out of the Breach to continue placing, top 6 now for them? Yeah. They're obviously in the upper half of the league, so then we have the Gorillas and Mutineers, which is a very interesting series. I wasn't expecting the Mutineers to win it, because honestly, I mean, we haven't really seen anything from them, anything too special, but this weekend they had a very great weekend. Now, granted, they didn't play the strongest of teams, but nonetheless, they were still looking very, very good and very little mistakes in both of their series, with a total of a 6-0 map count. So I had them going 0-2. They actually went 2-0. They really did good this weekend. Then we move on to Saturday, Gorillas versus Legion. Gorillas actually 3-0'd the Legion, so they get 3-0'd, then they 3-0 back, so they get a bounce-back series there at least, but Legion did not look very great there at all. Jimbo, my god, we'll talk about Jimbo in a moment. Thieves versus the Ravens, again, not a close series, a 3-0, and it was a pretty quick series. Thieves really didn't look that great this weekend. I mean, they definitely looked better against Optic than they did against London, which is odd. Paul was an absolute super sub. Paul did absolutely fantastic against both the Subliners and the Thieves, and anyone that needs a new player, such as New York or Paris, maybe even Seattle, I mean, Paul is definitely a great flex. So definitely be on the lookout for Paul probably getting signed to somewhere within the next couple of weeks before the actual major. I could definitely see it happening. Nonetheless, we've got then we had Toronto versus Minnesota, the marquee match of Saturday. It was a good series, actually. It was a really good series. 3-1 for Ultra. It was a very close and fun series, that's for sure. Obviously, Toronto almost full-sailed the Rokkr in Map 2, which I really, really wanted it for some sort of vengeance, I guess, for the Stage 5 Major of last year. Of course, if you guys, obviously, if you remember Stage 5 last year, Toronto up 4-0 in the series, unfortunately get absolutely reverse swept by the Rokkr in the Major. It was a sad, sad time. It was definitely a sad time. Nonetheless, we continue on to the main event Saturday, which was an absolute blasphemy of a series. I'm actually still watching it. I'm rewatching it because it just kind of blew my mind. I really want to see what Atlanta did wrong. It still blows my mind that Atlanta manages to lose to the Surge, especially in the absolute downfall that the Surge is currently in. But obviously, I mean, I don't know. Again, I had Atlanta absolutely stomping Seattle here, but no, that was not at all the case. It was a very close series for the most part. I think only 2 players in the entire series went positive, and it was Celium and Mac, I believe. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Then we move on to Sunday. We go to the Legion and Rokkr. It was a 3-2, just as I expected, a reverse sweep from the Rokkr, and it's very possible that the Legion would have 3-0'd the Rokkr there if Jimbo would have had, I don't know, 7 more gunfight wins. The guy was absolutely struggling yesterday. It was really, really sad. I had actually done some stats for, let me see if I can find it. I'm just looking at my phone because, alright, so this weekend, Jimbo went 98 and 166, so only 98 kills and 166 deaths in his first 2 series, and people were wondering if it was a ping issue. It was not a ping issue, and that is a KD of a 0.59 in his 2 series, and it's not like he played the best teams. He played a new role Minnesota Rokkr team and a pretty struggling Gorillas team, and Jimbo played really, really horribly. I honestly wonder if this guy gets more time in the league. I mean, there hasn't been any news yet. I would imagine they do continue Jimbo, but this weekend, I mean, obviously I can't imagine it goes well against the Ravens, and I mean, who knows with the subliners. That is a total coin flip of a series. Then continuing on through Sunday, we have the Mutineers versus the Subliners, and again, it was just such a sad scene for the Subliners. If you're a Subliners fan, I really appreciate you for sticking with them, because they are really, really struggling right now. I honestly had the Subliners winning. I had some sort of faith in them, but no, it was not the case at all. They looked dead. Krim was using a sub, and honestly, it didn't look bad, but then Hydra didn't really look himself, and I think it's because Hydra kind of took a step back so Krim could do that entry role, and I really don't think that's the way that New York is going to find success. Letting Hydra do whatever he wants on the map, I think, is the best way for New York to find success, because letting that guy run around the map, slay out, and get kills, that's what's honestly going to get them a win, especially in hardpoint, and that's what they need. They need a hardpoint win more than anything right now, and I mean, it could definitely happen against the Legion. We'll see. We will see. But one of my best friends is a Subliners fan, and I really feel for him because obviously they're going through it right now. And then nonetheless, we'll continue on to the main event of Sunday. We have Optic Texas beating the Thieves in 3-2 fashion. It was a very close series, round 11, game 5. I mean, game 1 was not close at all. Game 2 was not close at all. Game 3 was not close at all. But then 4 and 5 were very, very close. And it was a very interesting series overall. I do think Optic is still the best team in the league, and honestly, I mean, they're still 2 round 11 losses away from being 10-0 right now, having 125 points. So obviously they're in a very, very good position right now. I'm intrigued to see how the standings will change, if at all, really, over this next week. Obviously, we'll take a look at the matches. We've got a very interesting schedule. Optic has an interesting schedule. I mean, they're two kind of question mark teams. You know, like how is Seattle going to play? How is Florida going to play? Boston has a pretty tough schedule this weekend with the Rokkr and the Ultra. The Legion have an interesting schedule with the Royal Ravens and Subliners, so that'll be interesting. And then FaZe has a very tough schedule as well. They have the Ravens and the Ultra, so I'm intrigued to see how things go. We shall see, right? We shall see. So, yeah, overall, that's a quick little recap of Week 1, Major 2. I'm intrigued to see how this weekend goes along. We shall see. So, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.